I've been on the hunt for the ultimate everyday carry camera. So for the past few weeks, I've been testing 3 totally different options side by side to see which one actually deserves that dedicated spot in my pocket. We have the Sony RX100IV, the Fujifilm X100, and the iPhone 16 Pro. One of these has the absolute best glass, one has an incredible amount of character, and one is already in my pocket. So let's find out which one you should actually be shooting with.
Do I have enough cameras? Well, the good thing, they're so small, I can actually shoot with all of them at the same time.
The camera I've been using the longest as an everyday carry is my iPhone. I always just use whatever version I have at the time. This has been genuinely my old faithful everyday camera. It takes a good enough looking photo, but most importantly, it is literally always on me.
I would say so far the iPhone's the easiest to shoot with, because I can just take so many photos, one after another.
It's just so convenient to pull it out and snap a couple of quick photos, so because of that, this camera easily has the strongest use case for me. I've noticed that even when I have a dedicated camera that I'm using when I'm on a trip, I still pull out my iPhone to just capture a few photos on that as well. But lately, I've been finding the image quality is a little bit uninspirational, and I've been feeling like I want something more fun to shoot with.
Now switching over to the Sony RX100IV. This one's got a much clearer screen.
The camera I've had the second longest amount of time is the Sony RX100IV. I've actually owned every version of this camera from the Mark I all the way to the Mark V. Personally, I think the Mark V was the last truly good version Sony ever made. I'm not super keen on upgrading to the Mark VII because they did remove the internal ND filter, they changed the lens, and a few other changes. Now, my mind might change if they ever announce a brand new model. It really just depends what they do with it. But for now, I love using this camera in comparison to my iPhone because the larger sensor adds a really beautiful quality to the photos that I simply can't achieve with a phone. It feels great ergonomically to shoot with as well, and I love the pop-up flash. But again, there is something missing for me here, which stops me from reaching for it as often as I would like. Finally, we have the Fujifilm X100. I think this is a polarizing camera that people either seem to completely love or really hate. It's probably not the kind of camera you'd expect me to buy either, but there are a few specific reasons I ended up purchasing it, and I've been really enjoying it. This X100 has a really fun film mode where you can't actually see or download your photos until you completely finish your digital roll. I also love that it shoots in JPEG only. Look, as a professional photographer, if a camera gives me the option to shoot in RAW, I'm always going to use it. But for my casual, everyday photos, I don't want to be sitting in front of a computer screen editing them. That's probably a personal problem I just need to get over, and I'm working on it. I do love the editing process, but I think I need to just learn to let it go a little bit for an everyday style camera. So now that you know why I got these cameras and what I like about them, let's talk about the image quality and get into what the downsides are of each of them. First, we have the iPhone 16 Pro, which has the smallest sensor of all 3 cameras and has 3 cameras, including ultra-wide and standard, which are 48 megapixels, and telephoto. This 1x camera is the full-frame focal length equivalent of 24 millimeters, which I find is a great standard focal length to work with for everyday photo and video. The ultra-wide camera gives you the full-frame equivalent of 14 millimeters, and the telephoto is 120 millimeters. I do have a complete review of this iPhone 16 and also the latest iPhone 17 Pro, including testing them out for video. This is the footage you're watching right now, so if you're interested in hearing more of my thoughts about this phone camera, I'll leave a link down below for you. While the overall image quality is definitely good, I do find iPhone lacks character.
So we've got our next spot here with some dappled direct light. Ooh, that's so nice. iPhone for me has like the best exposure because I can actually see what I'm taking photos of, and like the whole scene is really balanced.
The files straight out of camera look overly sharp in my opinion, and I find the JPEG automatic processor can give you some unnatural results in trickier lighting situations like backlight. The only way around that is to shoot in RAW, which actually looks really good, but realistically, I'm never shooting in RAW on my phone. The files take up way too much space, it makes it more difficult to transfer photos over, so I stick to JPEG because I like that it's good enough and convenient. Next is the Fujifilm X100, which features a half-frame 18 megapixel digital sensor sensor and a fixed prime lens with a full frame equivalent focal length of 32mm.
This one's cool. Like, we do have like film simulations, but it is the slowest to shoot on out of all three. I feel like it's a bit too dark on your face. Do you want to come here instead? Wait, that's better.
I find the photos from the X100 look a lot like what you get out of an iPhone, but they have a lot more character. Unlike my iPhone, the X100 photos have a more flattering level of sharpness, and I really like the colors you're getting straight out of camera. A downside for me with this camera is the focus is very hit and miss. It's fine if you're taking photos of something stationary, but as soon as you're taking photos of people, I'm getting a lot of out of focus photos, which is frustrating. I think it's such a huge miss that it only has an LED flash, which, to be honest, barely does anything. This camera would have been so popular if it had a proper flash.
And now move over to the Sony.
Finally, we have the Sony RX100IV, which has a 1-inch sensor, so it's the largest sensor here, paired with a built-in 24 to 70mm equivalent f1.8 to 2.8 Zeiss lens. Hands down, this gives you the best image quality out of all three options because of that larger sensor and the high-quality glass instead of the plastic lens like the other two have. This is the only camera that has a real built-in flash as well. Even though I have the older Mark IV version, the latest model is the RX100V, and it was released in 2019, so it's been 7 years since we've seen a new version of this camera. I would love to see Sony release a Mark VIII and give it a fresh modern update like they did with the Sony RX1R Mark III. No one really expected them to release that camera last year, so anything's possible. So let's talk about the workflows with these cameras, because half the point of a good everyday carry, at least for me, is having an easy, frictionless workflow so you can actually use and look at the photos you take rather than just storing them away on a hard drive to never see the light of day.
For our last shot, we've got a nice little backlit spot to work with.
With the Sony, the shooting experience is great, but the workflow is a bit painful. All of the RX100s, including the latest Mark VII version, are stuck using the old, outdated version of Sony's Imaging Edge mobile app. I find this app is very hit and miss with connectivity and transferring, plus you can only send over JPEGs, which for me is fine, but it is something to note in case you prefer shooting in RAW. So to make it all work, you either need to wait until you can download them to a computer, which I don't really like as I prefer to have my everyday photos on my phone, so this adds yet another extra step to the process, or you need to use an SD card reader straight into your phone to download, which is just not a workflow for me. The Fujifilm X100 is a totally different story because it actually has a great app. The camera always connects easily to your phone and transferring photos is really stable. And like I mentioned earlier, it's also such a fun workflow. You can either choose to use it like a normal camera, or you can use it like a film camera where you can't actually see or download your photos until you finish shooting your entire digital roll. And the iPhone is obviously the winner of convenience. It is the easiest to use by far, and the second you snap a photo, the pictures are already automatically sitting in your camera roll. And if you have it, upload it to iCloud as a backup and to easily get the photos on your computer if you want them later.
And last but not least, we have iPhone. So I'm gonna start off with the 1x camera.
So which one wins? Look, at the end of the day, I don't think there can ever be a perfect camera, although let me know in the comments if you think there is one that I should try next, but each of them do have a place in my life for different reasons. The iPhone is always with me and I still reach for it constantly, even when I have a dedicated camera on me. The reason for this is that nothing beats the ease of shooting on a phone and having the photos instantly ready to share and look at. It's actually still a great option for the days I don't want to carry a camera at all.
And just like the Sony, I can zoom in with iPhone as well. So I've got the 2x, which is really nice, but it's not a native lens. This just does digital zoom, but it still looks pretty good. And we also have 5x, which is a native lens. It's very close up, so I have to move back.
But if I'm packing my bags and going on a big trip, I would pick the Sony RX100. That better sensor size and lens quality makes all the difference when you're capturing more one-off moments. A digital 1-inch type sensor camera is basically what I use to replace my 35mm point and shoot film cameras for an overseas trip.
So even though you can't zoom in with the X100, you can do the Fujifilm simulation. So I like to shoot with nostalgic negative quite a lot. So So it is cool that you can get final edited images straight out of camera too. And let me switch over to classic neg too. I like that one as well. So you can't zoom, but you do have film simulations.
So that leaves the Fujifilm X100, which has become my go-to option when I'm just heading out for a local day trip at home. Because it's the most limited camera out of all of these options, with the slower focusing and the fixed lens, I don't want to haul it with me on an international trip when I already have such a massive amount of camera equipment with me anyway. But for a day trip, then yes, this camera is so great for that. So let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!